so now I really can't teach without faces of blind students being in front of me, and it changes how I teach, how I build technology, and how I think about everything. And I think that the large numbers are, when a teacher is exposed to these large numbers, the teacher learns something about what teaching really is. If you just have a certain set of carefully curated students that arrive in your classroom, 30 of them every semester, well, you think that's what teaching is, because those are the 30 students that arrive in your classroom. But that's not all the teaching that the world needs. The world needs far more teaching than what can be done in a place like the room you're sitting in. It just, there's so many people. And so we got to figure this out. But at the same time, we got to reach everybody, regardless of ability to pay, regardless of location. But we also got to empower the growth of teachers locally. And I think that's something that I'm just working on, and hopefully using my class as an example of how to do that. And I'm working now with some groups. You probably have never heard of a group called Free Code Camp. Free Code Camp basically tries to tell people to form meetup groups around their learning, right? And they've probably got 10 or 20 of them all over the world. I just recorded a video for the release of Python for Everybody on edX. And I talked a lot about, in the kind of the end of the second course video, I talked a lot about what you, now that you sort of know how to program, what you should do. And that is find a meetup, go to PyCon, go meet people. Because really, the skills are only the first part. Find a way to be with people and learn from those people. And the people are what are going to get you the job, right? If you think about how college gets you a job, yeah, college gives you some skills, but college gives you much more importantly contacts. And so I want to figure out a way to get young people and old people and people who are changing careers who are taking these online MOOCs to find ways to meet people. And again, Python is kind of perfect because there are Python conferences people can go to. There are Python meetups that people can go to. And the key thing is the learning sort of goes into that, not just knowledge. No, I still think a residential education is important. I think people need to spend time with each other. I think people need to be exposed to people that are not from their town. And that's a wonderful thing that college gives us. And I think we need more of that. But I do think we probably teach too much skills in college, and we need to spend more time in colleges and universities with people doing stuff together rather than just sitting alone and learning skill after skill after skill that probably is best taught with something like a MOOC. Thank you for your question.
We have another question here.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Tapaduti. I'm one of the hackathon participants. So I want to know your thought process on the representing a diagram in words. Like, how do I represent a graph or a diagram to a person, who can't observe it the way we do? Can you please share us your thought process, how you want to solve a problem, or you want a solution to be there in future?
Well, so I'm not so worried about the words, because I believe that a good teacher can describe, if I knew that the shape of the boxes or the blocks and the lines that connect them with maybe a label, right? So let's just imagine you got a label. I want to tell you about the CPU, the cache, and the memory, right? So there's three boxes, CPU at the top, cache in the middle, memory at the bottom. There's a bunch of lines between CPU and cache, and a bunch of lines between memory and cache, right? And I want to talk about how caches work, right? So I just need a simple diagram with three boxes and some lines in between two of the boxes, and a label that says CPU, cache, and memory. I don't need a whole book, because I can use audio to explain how CPUs, caches, and memories work, but then I want the visually impaired person to be able to feel the spatial relationship between those things. And as I'm building my Django class, every time I build a block diagram, I think to myself, this is the one place that I'm going to find it difficult to explain it to visually impaired people. And so again, I think I will need about 10 of these per class, not 100, not like a book is 300 pages, but that text, visually impaired people can hear the text. That's not a problem. Or I can explain it in a lecture. But there's 10 really critical diagrams in a typical one semester class, and that's what I want to be able to make. But they don't have to be complex, and they don't have to have a lot of text. They're all about the spatial relationships with simple labels, I think. That's at least what I think.
We can speak from there. Okay. Actually, can you hear me, doctor?
Yes?
Yeah. Okay. This is Neha Trivedi from the Xavier's Resource Center for the Visually Challenged at St. Xavier's College, Bombay. And this is not a question, but just to put your query at ease. There are people in India doing exactly what you asked for in terms of your tactile diagrams. So there is Raceline Foundation, who's also here from IIT Delhi, and they're exactly making books of tactile diagrams. And us as an academic organization looking at inclusion, we're trying to create books which are concept-based for different topics. So your MOOC course could just be one more concept that we could together work on. So I'll connect with you after this event. Maybe I'll take your email from Karthik, and I'm sure what you're looking out for is easily doable and possible and cost-effective. Yeah, so it's already been done.
Yeah, so thank you for that. So apparently tactile diagrams is what I was supposed to be Googling for as I was in my cert, right? That's what I was looking for.
In fact, in the US, APH makes these tactile diagrams, but I don't know whether they make smaller numbers. But in India, we have multiple of these 3D printed costs, because in India, cost is a big challenge, right? So the APH diagrams are not cost effective for us. Whereas in India, a lot of people have done work to make them cost effective, so they would be able to help you as well. So we could all together ideate and create that content. That shouldn't be a problem at all. Yeah.
So for me, the number of line programmers, I don't know what the number is, line Python programmers in the world.
Yes.
But let's say there's 100 of them.
Yes.
I would buy 100 and ship one to each person, right? I mean, I'm crazy about this stuff. I mean,
So
I love this stuff.
I think
I wanna-
Akashdeep is here. If Akashdeep wants to say hello to sir. He's from the Raceline Foundation, which is a new startup that IIT Delhi has just set up for this precise
Yeah.
purpose to create tactile content in an easily accessible and a cost-effective manner. So
I'll tell you what then. I'll tell you what. I mean, if you give me the hookup, right?
Yes.
You give me the hookup for this.
Yes.
I will promote it in the largest Python class in the world. We'll find a way to get. We'll find a way to get 10 diagrams made in a way for people to request the 10 diagrams, and I'll feature it everywhere on the planet. And
So I think that's a great outcome of this hackathon itself. I think it will be great to sort of use your platform to even raise awareness about these things, and this is just one more step forward. So thank you so much. I'll connect with you after the event.
Thank you.
On Monday. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
bye.
Thank you so much, Professor. Bye. Okay. I now request Ms. Neha Trivedi from ICT to hand over the gift to Ms. Divya Singh.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's the end of the session and the beginning of the hackathon. Thank you so much, all of you. So, we are now going to guide you to the room where the